Hello and welcome to another episode of the Revel podcast. I'm your host, Flo. This week we have the CEO and founder of APfit, Austin Parker.
Hello.
Welcome. I wanted to have you on because it seems like the past guests, every single guest I've had, they don't have a typical 9 to 5. They've seemed to find the avenue that leads them to be able to work in something that they're also passionate about.
Yes.
And so I wanted to start off with, you used to be in a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And it was a solid job,
For
too.
sure.
So what kind of sparked your interest in leaving or taking that leap to start something different?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, love the podcast. Definitely excited to be here. So yeah, when I was a college basketball player, to make a long story short, and I really fell in love with the strength and conditioning aspects of our training, So I was always a person super hyped, telling people, hey, we got one more sprint, one more lift. Because of that, I got an internship with the strength and conditioning department there at the university. So in my 5th year, I was actually assistant strength and conditioning coach for the men's basketball team. And, I drew up the morning workouts and everything like that. Fast forward, I worked 2 years at Nationwide Insurance, and I was building, APfit and the training thing on the side. I was just training one person who was my brother-in-law at the time. He was pre-diabetic, and we started training after a couple months, lost about 20, 30 pounds. We started talking about nutrition, just slowly but surely. And he really fell in love with it and no longer had to take his diabetes medication.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, after that, I posted the progress and documented it. And a lot of people were like, hey, can you train me? But obviously at that time I was working. So I started a boot camp at my dad's church. Shout out to my dad. And we started in the chapel making all this noise and bringing in equipment. So shout out to him for letting us start that there. That was awesome. And then from then on, we just built it up. And we had 2 boot camps a week. They were relatively small at the time. But as the years went by and as we were consistent, it just kept growing. So by the time the pandemic came around, I was training early in the morning. I was training late at night, working 40 hours a week on top of it. Just kind of spent, exhausted. And I was actually laid off from corporate. I had these plans. Always said I was going to quit in the fall, and then I changed it to the spring. And it was really difficult, especially because the pay gap that I felt that I was going to experience with the jump. But, God pushed me.
Yeah.
And, after I was laid off, we just started building APfit full time, obviously virtually at the time. But it grew and word spread. And, we've been trucking ever since.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the summer probably of 2020, maybe even sooner, that you were posting your workouts online.
Yeah.
And it was donation-based.
Yeah.
And I jumped on a few of them.
Oh, I love it. No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Of course, yeah. I'm also in fitness as well, of course,
yes.
And so, any support I can throw that way. And it was a good program, too. It was really fun, and it's tough to do, especially something that you need to usually be, right next to someone to train them, but you did a good job.
Thank you. We tried to bring the
Yeah.
energy, tried to bring some music. But, it was tough, but people needed that consistency at that time. There was nothing really going on, so, we did it. We offered, like we said, donation-based, so I would go live on Facebook, live on Instagram. And shout out to you and everybody else who was sending donations. It really helped us out during that time.
Yeah, and since it's developed, and now we don't have the restrictions as much really at all of the pandemic, and so it seems like all the time you're posting these big, what was it called? The boot camps. Boot camps, but then you also have a regular gym you work out of.
Yes.
So what does it look like today?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 3 larger boot camps, and we call them fit camps on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. And those are, the barrier of entry is a lot lower there. It's a group class. It's really dynamic. We've got HIIT training, resistance training. We do it to upbeat music just to make it fun. We do different things, different games. Sometimes it gets competitive. I try to keep them on their toes for sure. You're definitely going to burn a lot of calories, sweat a lot, and meet some great people. The biggest thing for those boot camps for me is community, that communal aspect. We always say we're better together just because when the energy gets in the room, you're able to do a lot more than you think you can on your own. Sure. And I know you can attribute to this. That's why I think working out in groups are so important. So we bring everybody together. different levels, different ages, and we work out together. And then throughout the week, Tuesday through Friday, I do a small group personal training and personal training. So that's more of a consultation-based thing. We figure out what your goals are, and we have a workout there for you. We get body fat percentage, different things like that, just so we can track any progress you have, or if we need to tweak anything after a couple weeks. But yeah, that's what it looks like. So we've got boot camps throughout the week and also some small group personal training.
It's like everything, the whole gamut.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you found that because of like the community base you've been able to develop within the boot camps, has it led to more personal training clients?
Oh, 1,000%. It's a pipeline for sure. And then because we built so many people up for the boot camps, retention has grown. Because once people are in this community, they make friends. And now they have accountability partners who are outside of me. So it's not just me telling you to get to the gym. It's one of your friends texting you. You guys got group chats going. So it's definitely a huge aspect. And like you said, it's kind of a direct pipeline. So once they get in, they fill it out. Then they start asking people, hey, how long have you been here? We also definitely offer the service, but it's been really, really great with word of mouth for those training clients.
That definitely helps. Word of mouth is huge.
Absolutely.
You've probably done like boosted posts on Instagram and stuff. And I mean, there's some traction, but it's nothing like grassroots recommendation. And,
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially when people can see the progress on you or someone that you work with. After a couple months, they're like, hey, who are you working with? And that's the best recommendation. They're able to see it, and they're able to see you as well.
Yeah, it's definitely real. And they know it's not just an infomercial.
Oh, for sure. Not just an ad.
Yeah, and I know that you also do a lot of stuff within the mental health space.
Yes.
And there's such a connection. Oh, you do a lot with Scattered Joy.
Absolutely.
You're one of the ambassadors.
Yes.
And do you still do the podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, because we had Zach on a few weeks back.
I love Zach.
Yes, awesome guy. And I know with mental health and physical working out, like they have so much crossover.
For sure.
How do you feel personally for you? What has fitness done for your mental health?
Yeah, personally, it's been everything. I went through a really rough spot where depression really hit during college, and it came out of nowhere seemingly. I was a college basketball player, had a lot of friends, having a lot of fun, maybe a little too much fun out there. And at that moment, like, it just felt like a dark cloud was following me. And there was two things that really, really kept me in the game. It was my personal fitness journey, taking those times to go on runs. That always cleared my mind. I would go on run. There was this neighborhood with all these hills. So I would go run the hills. It was probably a mile and a half. And I would get into the gym. I really got into the weight room and started learning different things about my body, learning different things about just myself with discipline. So for me, it was always an escape, a release, like if you're angry or something like that. It was a place where, I was able to still feel like an athlete even when basketball ended because that was important to me, being able to move athletically. But it was also a place that taught me, like, showing up for myself, right? Discipline, showing up for myself. It taught me about the compounding effect of anything that we do. It shows that, it's not going to happen overnight. So you got to keep working at it, and eventually, you'll get stronger, you'll see results. And it also told me just about, like, hard work. You got to put the work in because it's something you can't cheat. The fitness grind, the fitness game, whatever it is, wherever your goals are, you can't cheat it. So if you're cheating out on your reps or if you're, not eating the way you should, you're going to be able to tell. So it's taught me so much about mental health, and that's a big reason of why I do it now. I do still have goals in the gym, but a huge reason is just that mental health, that release.
Fitness in general has so many metaphors for every aspect of life.
Oh, for sure.
Like you were talking, like, if you cheat reps, maybe people around you might think for that day that you're throwing up a lot of weight, but your body's not gonna, or your body's gonna know you didn't do that.
For sure.
So it's really, you're showing up for your integrity,
absolutely,
mental health, and there's so much science. I won't get into science because I don't honestly know all the details of it, but about like trauma being held in your body and how working out helps you to release trauma you don't have words for.
1,000%.
Yeah, I mean, I've been coaching before where someone starts crying in the workout, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And they're like, no, I feel so good. Like it's trauma.
It's incredible, and there's a book. keep getting recommended. So I have to read this book. It's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh,
But it's even the title just speaks volume, because trauma, stress, and anxiety can be stored in our body, and we can even have physical symptoms of it. And I never really understood the physical symptoms. But when our heart's beating like uncontrollably, palms sweaty, or we get that eerie feeling around a place or even a person or a series of events, you know what I mean? That's trauma being stored in our body. So whenever we're able to release, you know, that dopamine is released, and we have these happy feelings. And, you know, someone can walk into a workout like tired and, you know, just not feeling it, and leave feeling like, you know, it's the best day in the world. Big smile, even though they got their butt kicked, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But big smile, sweaty, ready to conquer the day. So it has amazing effects.
Totally. I feel like it definitely helps you build trust in what you're capable of doing too. Like you're talking about showing up for yourself.
Yes.
And so when you say yes to yourself, you can move more confidently into other aspects of life, you know?
So good. And I love that, saying yes to yourself, because I train a lot of mothers, a lot of professionals, a lot of people who make so much time for others, right? And, you know, my guy BT, a trainer that I've learned from, he always just says it's 1 hour of the day where you get to focus on yourself and show up for yourself, you know, especially as moms. They're giving all day, teachers, professionals, like they're pouring out from their cup all day. And if your cup is empty, you have nothing to pour. You can't pour from an empty cup. So working out, it recharges that battery. And it also gives you some me time, you know, an excuse on that calendar to know, like, hey, I'm gonna do me for at least an hour, you know?
For sure. It's like setting a literal appointment with yourself. So if
It
you're ever
is.
like, how am I supposed to tell someone I'm busy? You just say you got an appointment.
You have
got
an appointment.
You got to do it.
For sure. I love it.
And like the thought of people might have this barrier in mind of thinking like, I've got to do X, Y, and Z. I can't give time to that. When really, when you have that rest, the mental rest, and go do something physical, you're actually, like you said, filling your cup up.
1,000%.
And then it just benefits you, but it benefits everybody around you.
Everyone around you. Everyone wants to see you with high energy, mentally sharp, in a good mood, right? People who have bad moods, they have low energy because they're not moving their body, not getting sun, not getting good sleep, and eating foods that are going to leave you lethargic and tired. You know what I mean? So if we're able to change some of those variables, people will be definitely surprised to see the results that happen just in their body, just the day-to-day, how you feel.
Yeah, it's just following the process and knowing, like, you might not see it day one, but look back 4 weeks, 8 weeks, you'll notice everything. And
for sure.
so speaking of kind of those mental barriers, how do you combat, like, people, your clients that you're training, how do you get them to press through those?
Like you said, it's a metaphor for life. And there's been countless times where a couple people have been a couple months in and they're like, hey, I'm not seeing what I thought I would see, you know? And we have to kind of peel back the layers of a couple things. One, what did you expect going into this journey? Two, the fact that it does take time. You know, we are in a society, it's cliche, but the microwave society, even the Amazon society, where we can get a package overnight, you know? So some people come into the gym really thinking that, you know, that transformation will happen in a couple weeks or a couple months. And they don't understand that it really is a journey. And it's a journey you have to lock into. There's a lot more benefits than just the scale. So I let them know that there's a lot of variables we measure progress on. And one is the scale, just depending on what your goals are. Body fat percentage, skeletal muscle mass, which is also measured on our InBody, on our scale. Before and after pictures are huge as well. A lot of people will not lose as much weight as they think they want to lose, but they'll be down 4 inches, 6 inches. And that's a huge thing because visibly your clothes fit different on you because your body composition is changing. And then we also measure how you feel. Like we were just talking about the energy throughout the day, you know, how we're able to think clearly and everything like that, how we're feeling mentally. And then lastly, like, are we getting stronger? So we're measuring like, hey, you're your squat was, 95 pounds and now it's 130.
Yeah.
So there's so many metrics of progress. And if you're consistent, you'll be able to see that. And the change just happens over time.
Totally.
So just letting them know that there's a lot of variables that can show you are successful, and to just give it time. Nothing worth having is going to be quick.
Yeah.
Nothing worth having is going to come easy. It's going to take a little bit of time, but if you stay at it and stay consistent, it'll definitely happen.
Also within like how you train, you're very motivational with how you speak, like obviously right now saying those things, but you also do speaking engagements, right?
For sure, yeah.
So what do those look like for you? Are you going to churches? Are you going TED Talk essentially?
Yeah. TED Talk one day, hopefully.
Yeah.
So it started in churches. There was a mental health fairs where they tie in the physical health, and now it's youth. So with a company I work with, Ice Mentors, and Aaron Pink, that's for the ladies. Ice Mentors is for the young men. I speak to young people about how a healthy lifestyle can be the catalyst of just success in overall life. A lot of what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
So we break down nutrition, what's going to give you good energy, and talking about eating whole foods because it's sustainable. A lot of the things that we eat or we want to eat that are really quick will leave you hungry and bloated and tired. And then we talk about, obviously, the physical aspect of movement and break it down. But then we also just talk about, being a light in your community, being a positive role model, and making good decisions and how your decisions can shape your life. So the motivational aspect was just something that has always been in me, like just as a kid, I guess. My father was a pastor, so that makes a lot of sense. He was a incredible speaker. My brother, my uncles are pastors, and, so it's definitely in the family. But I feel like I took a different route, and, I think the gym is kind of like my church, not to be like blasphemous or anything, but I'm able to speak life into people. And people bring me problems and different things like that, and I'm not, a therapist, and I definitely would tell someone to get a counselor and a therapist. But for that moment, I'm a listening ear. And I can definitely let you know that, you have potential. Mm-hmm. There's more inside you. And, you can't quit right now. There's a lot riding on you being successful. You got your kids watching. You got other people watching. Like, we got to see it. And we got your back as well. Yeah, that's where it comes from. That motivational aspect kind of just started coming after people met me. And they were like, hey, my company's doing this. I think you should come and speak for the kids. So it really happened organically, and now it's becoming a part of the business. So it's awesome.
That's really cool. Gives you another avenue too to kind of even flex like creative muscles of
for sure
how to speak into people. And I completely get the idea of, I don't think it's blasphemous to say like the gym's become your church.
Yeah.
We're the church, right? Whatever.
Absolutely.
All this stuff.
Absolutely.
And those people probably wouldn't go into a church,
Yes.
And so you get to bring that light and everything to them too. So that's a really cool.
For sure. We got to be the light wherever we go. Yeah. And I call it like kind of workplace ministry.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think if you're in the church, like some people have the thought that I have to work in the church to be involved in ministry. But regardless of where you are in marketing and in a podcast, in any setting, you can bring God with you. You can bring your positive light with you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's meant to be lived outside too.
For sure.
And so it's kind of grown since pandemic times, getting more eyes on you, moving through, getting a lot of more clients and having all these different avenues now. And it's been almost 8 years, maybe 8 years since like the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Do you have a vision of what you would love to see it be like in 10 years?
Yeah. Wow. 10 years.
No pressure.
Yeah. No pressure at all. So we're in the process of looking for commercial real estate so we can, own our own gym. So an APfit home gym would be in the works where people feel comfortable coming in, not intimidated, because we'll have different class levels, low impact, all the way to advanced. If we're talking 10 years, I would love to see a kids area as well. Mm. A big barrier for people to get in the gym, especially my demographic right now, is childcare. Like I would love to come to your class. I got the kids during that time. So to be able to drop them off in the child care and come and work out would be awesome. Cafe attached to the gym. I'm blessed, very blessed to date a chef. Shout out to Chef D.
Yes.
She helps a lot of my clients with the nutrition aspect. So if they're able to come and, grab meal prep, grab healthy bites, that would be awesome. So that would be kind of the home base. I would love to go around and speak. We just got into corporate wellness, so we're helping different corporations with essentially the same challenges that we do. We do 45-day challenges and 60-day challenges where we offer meal guides and workout videos for people to follow, and they're able to post their meals and post their workout activity through Fitbit, Apple Watch, whatever it is. So we do that now with corporations, which is huge. So I would love to do that with a lot of different corporations, go around and speak and do a lot of these, big boot camps where we go as well. The mission is always been to let people know that through their fitness journey, they can grow their confidence and that they can believe that not just in the gym, but outside of the gym, that they are capable of so much more, and that anything that they dream, like God's able to do exceedingly abundantly above everything we can imagine. And he's gonna steer the boat, but we gotta make sure we're rowing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To let people know that you have everything you need, but if you don't put the work and the action into it, faith without works is dead. So letting people know you have this potential, you have everything you need, but you gotta walk. Even if it's a small step, even if it's a slow step, you got to start walking, and God will do the rest. But you got to get going as well,
Totally, like believing it's going to happen. So taking what God's already given you.
For sure. Because a lot of times we have that belief, but we've got to put that work into it as well, because God's given us all gifts. And if we mismanage it, or if we neglect it, there's people counting on us, so it's way bigger than us when we think about our dreams and our goals. Some of us defer those dreams and goals because they're like, my life is okay now, but I think it's even selfish for us to do that, just because there's so many people that can be impacted by your podcast, your cookbook, a web series, whatever it is, So we got to go for it.
It doesn't even have to be a big audience. It can take just like one ear.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
For sure, because one person, if one person hears it, if one person needs it, then you've done your job.
Yeah.
1,000%.
And it takes a lot of pressure off of your shoulders to be like, I have to be big for all these people. And it's like, just be you and the person in front of you.
Just be you. Yeah, and we also have to figure out what success means to us, because I think in this internet society, you're right, I think we feel like we have to do something huge.
Yeah.
But the impact is so much more important, and you don't know whose life you'll be touching, and you can do whatever you want to do. That doesn't mean everyone has to quit their job, but regardless of what your gift is, you can do it at scale, even if it's small, on the weekends, once a month. But we gotta operate in our gifts.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we're given those gifts because they give us joy too. It's like, it's so twofold,
Yeah.
It's like the flip of mentality of, I have to do this, but like doing this, actually, I'm going to get benefits too.
Yes.
So it's just easier to do that. I heard this one sermon, I'm hoping to get all the facts straight, but basically the book of Luke, we're talking about one of Jesus's guys, and he also had a small group of people, right, to start, 12 guys?
12.
Yeah, and in his inner circle, and obviously it's changed history. The book of Luke actually wrote that book for one person.
Wow.
He didn't intend it to be read for thousands of years. He didn't know anything about the canon, right? We didn't know anything about that yet. And it's in the most read, most sold book now in history, right?
Yes.
Luke wrote to one guy. He had one intention of putting one guy's eyes on that paper, and now millions of people's lives are changed because of something Luke thought wasn't a big deal for everyone, It's
incredible. It's incredible, and God wants to use what we have now.
Yeah.
Like, this podcast might not touch anyone the week it comes out, but it's out here for a very, very long time. So somebody could watch an episode and be like, wow, later down the line, just because you have the courage to put it out, you know what I mean? And that's huge.
And then thinking more like on the practical sides, you're writing programs for individuals, for classes. How do you go about creating these programs, starting maybe with the boot camps?
Yeah, absolutely. So starting with the boot camps, there's kind of a simple format, and I kind of just plug and chug
Yeah.
We do a warm up. Coach Tracy warms them up, dynamic warm up, and then we go into some hit. The hit is light to start, and we just gradually build it up. After that, we'll normally go into stations, and those stations are just different dynamic workouts, anything from battle ropes to air bikes to sleds. Definitely to test your strength, your endurance. And then after that, we'll put them through stations, and then we'll end with one group activity. Sometimes it's a hip-hop hit, like type of routine, which you've probably seen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's some sprints, not as creative, but definitely effective.
Definitely.
And sometimes it's a game, a way to compete, but, a way to still burn calories and do it well. So it's, warm up, essentially stations, and then something final. And those classes last about 55 minutes to an hour 10, maybe if I go over.
Yeah.
I go over sometimes, but, you're free to leave after an hour. But so for that, I won't say it's not as tricky, but it's a lot more creative control.
Yeah.
A lot more variables with the small group personal training because the way it's set up, in the morning, people are coming in either on the hour or on the half hour. And, I'll give them their workout. But that structure is, we'll structure the days depending on how many times you work out. So if you're only seeing me twice a week, we might hit full body, both of those days. Or we'll split an upper body, lower body. So that's a lot more involved. But that happens throughout the week, but definitely on Sundays and the weekends to prepare.
Yeah.
But it's more involved. But once you're able to learn the clients and learn everybody's strengths and weaknesses, it gets easier. But it's probably the most time-consuming thing that I do throughout the week that doesn't involve, actually being in the gym.
Yeah.
But that's a fun aspect as well. I do love a part of this job that there's a lot of different ways that I can be creative.
Yeah.
During programming, the actual workouts, even the way we market. That's kind of how that goes.
Keeps it all turning.
Yeah.
And earlier we talked about we can't give what we don't have. And so with your job, you are pouring out a lot. Like you just listed a bunch of ways.
For sure.
About how just practically, but also you're giving out like a lot of your positive energy and stuff. So what do you do personally that fills you back up?
I walk, and I walk daily. I ruck, so I put like a weight vest on, 40-pound weight vest, and I go to High Banks, Blendon Woods, my neighborhood, Scioto Mile, wherever. And, I'm either listening to worship music, a podcast. I was listening to Pastor Greg's one here, which was awesome. Or just the nature. Sometimes I don't like all the noise just because in the gym, the noise is just going. Mm-hmm. So I do that to kind of recharge mentally. And then I'll work out, That's a big part of what I need to do for the day to make sure I'm sharp and to make sure I'm in a good mood. You know how people are like, they're kind of cranky if they haven't ate. Like, I'm like, I might need my workout. And sometimes that workout looks different because the schedule. I don't always get that hour in every day. I try to, at least 4 times a week. But sometimes that looks like me going on a run or just a ruck. Or just a 30-minute pop in, hit a full body, but I try to make sure that I'm always able to walk and able to work out. The walking is also a big time with God to pray and worship and to just kind of clear my head. And I try to tell myself, like, nothing work-related even coming into mind, you know what I'm saying? We're not out here strategically planning,
Yeah.
We're out here just talking to God and unplugging.
Yeah, resting.
For sure.
Yeah, it's so important just to have those recharge moments where there's no pressure. Knowing you have to craft or create anything.
Yeah.
And also, y'all, AP can sing.
Yeah.
He's on our worship team.
Let's go.
That also brings a lot of life, too.
Oh,
Sometimes,
for sure.
though, I feel like when you're leading worship up there, you're working us out. Like, you're giving us a workout there.
Look, man,
up.
it is hard for me to stay still during worship. If you see me even, like, just in the crowd, like, when I'm not serving, like, I got to be on the end. I got to be on the aisle. I'm coming to the front normally.
Throwing elbows on accident.
Oh, like, I'm trying to tell you, like, I'm going to come to the front if I'm not near the front. Man, I love God, and when that music gets going, and I think about the words of certain songs, man, it just hits you different.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you are excited about that obviously, everything we've been talking about is really the main focus of
sure.
what you're putting your energy into. But do you have things like you're looking forward to right now that you want to share?
Yeah, absolutely. We're in the midst of a tour right now, and it's corporations. So we have Franklin County Public Health. We're doing some work with African American Wellness. We have Columbus Urban League Suicide Prevention Summit, which is going to be awesome. A lot of youth in that one. We've got ICE Mentors. I meet with them monthly. So it's a group of young men who are hilarious. They bring me a lot of life and a lot of joy. It's a new challenge in my life because, they have different backgrounds than some of the people that I've been able to train. So it's been awesome. And there's more. The schedule is a lot. And I was excited when I was writing it out, but now I'm like, oh. But, these are the things we pray for, for reach. And when it's time to do the work, you can't complain about what you pray for. So a lot of those corporations I'm very, very excited to partner with again. And then we have some faith and fitness things coming in June and July. And that's when we just go to different churches and we do a high energy workout to praise and worship music. Last time we did it, it was a DJ and a live band. And we're playing this praise and worship music, and we're jumping around, doing workouts to it for all levels. Mm-hmm. And we end with a devotional and then just like a health talk, just kind of covering the basis for people in terms of, hey, what we should be eating, how often we should be moving, and different things like that. Yeah. So from the corporate side and the church side, definitely excited for some of these collaborations. Mm-hmm. When we go to where people are, it's a lot easier to reach them. I really fight, and it's not an easy sell. I really fight for the faith and fitness in churches specifically because if I say, hey, meet me at my gym, a lot of people aren't going to come. Right. Maybe the gym enthusiasts, but whatever. But if I pull up on a Saturday to your church, you're like, hey, I might come. Yeah. If I pull up to a Sunday morning, Strong Point let us do a Sunday morning, which was awesome. You're going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So we love doing that, and we love going into corporations because we're seeing the people who might not reach out to me. You know what I mean? And they might not reach out until they have that workout, they have that fun experience, and they're like, hey, I've been looking for a trainer or I've been thinking about I need to get tapped in. So it's a way for us to reach people. And even if they don't train with us, we're able to provide information, some inspiration, and some fun for sure.
Yeah, it takes away a lot of barriers. I feel the biggest feedback I hear, it's just intimidating to get into the gym.
For sure.
Yeah, so bringing it somewhere where there's already a community of people that trust each other.
Yeah, you guys already know each other. Yeah. You guys can sweat together. That's sweat equity that's built, and some of that, you guys going through something hard, it really builds you guys, brings you closer together as well. Yeah,
and I grew up in a Baptist church. My dad was also a pastor.
Nice.
And, those after service lunch, buffets and all that stuff, it's so common, and there's no hate against that. I love myself a buffet. But I think the church is starting to realize more and more it's mind, body, and spirit,
Yes.
It's important to take care of yourself, not just for aesthetics, which those just happen to naturally happen.
Exactly. I love that part. Yeah, and it's we work out because we love our bodies.
Yeah.
Not because we hate our bodies. So I don't want people to think, hey, I hate my body, so I have to, go and work out, or hey, I love where I am right now, so I don't have to work out. Yeah. There's so many more benefits to that, and like you said, much more than aesthetic. God wants you to live a life that is whole.
Yeah.
And that's not just spiritually, that's mentally, that's physically, that's financially, relationally, all across the board. So I think if we're able to be mentally sharp and be healthy, we'll be able to live out those dreams and goals that God gave us.
Yeah, and feel good doing it.
For sure.
All that energy.
Oh, yeah. I love the mental health aspect of what we do. Just letting people know that fitness is a lot more than the aesthetic. When you see videos of people working out and lifting all these heavy weights and running, for the most part, most of those people did not start like that. Each person has a crazy journey, and you do not have to start at 100. You can start at a level 1, even if it's just taking a walk. Regardless of what it is, you should get started on your journey today, because putting it off is only going to put off the incredible results that you get from it. And the thing is, it can be free. You can go outside and walk, squat, do some lunges for absolutely free, and the results will blow your mind. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I love to tell people is that, we don't just do this to look good. We do this to feel good. And a lot of the communities that I help, because of food deserts, if you're in an urban population, it's hard. There's not a Whole Foods out there. There's not a Pliable out there. There's a Popeye's Chicken. Yep. There's a corner store, and there's a liquor store. So there are some barriers for others. But giving that information to let them know, hey, if you go in your grocery store, you can get X, Y, and Z, make a healthy meal for this much. Or, hey, even if you're just at Planet Fitness, you can come in here and use these machines this way. Or, hey, if you can just buy our program, $30 for this month, you can do all these workouts at home, So just letting people know that regardless of where you are, you can get started, and fitness is for you.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yep.
Time's going to pass anyways, right?
I mean, you might as well start. It's going to pass anyway, and you're going to regret it. Don't keep putting it off next Monday or next month or wait for this and wait for that. Even if it's slow, you want to get started. Yeah,
so where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, so on all social media platforms, _APFIT. For any booking, get APfitness@gmail. Get APfitness@gmail. And other than that, I post my schedule everywhere, especially on Instagram and Facebook. So if you want to tap into any of our boot camp classes, we would love to have you.
Yes, so good. Yes. Well, thanks, AP.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
I'll have to take one of your hip-hop classes. I'll be in the back, but I'll be there.
Hey, it doesn't matter where you are. You got it.
So good.
I love it.
All right, I'll see you.
See you. Thank you.